Do 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 do. This will be my thumbnail.
Gun game.
Yay! What is up, hashtag FURRYPACK? Welcome to a brand new video where we're playing some Call of Duty Black Ops 4 here on the PS4, and I already got wrecked right away. And I'm playing as this new Op Zero, and my game is extremely loud on my end, but it's actually pretty. It's nice and average optimized on the recording. But on my ears, I'm like freaking killing my ears right now because I have it so loud, because my headset's too loud. Ow! Okay. But yeah, you know, I'm just gaming on my brand new monitor. So, what is it? Last night I actually made a little quick rushed video, and tonight it's more of a actually pretty okay video. But I'm actually gonna go ahead and go over the topic a little better, you know, on today's video, and that is, you know, I want to just pretty much mention the topic a little better about DisplayPorts. You know, what is it like? What's the best method to go ahead and actually have a monitor hooked up, you know, to your PC if you're a PC gamer, or in general, just, you know, a person that has a PC and, you know, just use a PC for anything. Like, what is the best cable? You know, what is the best type of method to hook up your PC to your monitor? Well, a lot of people go ahead and like to use HDMI or display cables. Now, here's one thing that really sucks when using something, what is it, like display cables, because that's really what this topic will be aimed towards majority of the time. Well, you gotta make sure you have a good quality display cable. So, obviously, I have a brand new monitor. It was gifted to me for Christmas, and I am really thankful and happy about that. I mean, I've always been using a TV as my secondary monitor, because, I mean, that's all I ever had. You know, I always used my TV. In fact, my TV used to be my monitor when I first got my desktop, until eventually I got my very first ever monitor I bought, and that was my main, you know, display whenever I was using my PC to edit videos, game on, and everything. And well, I ended up buying a display cable, you know, like almost a week or two before Christmas, and I just bought it just because I was looking, you know, at monitors, and I've been saving up a bit of money to try to go ahead and buy myself, you know, a monitor, you know, a secondary one on my own. And I got a display cable and a HDMI switch because I will figure I would need it, and by the time I get a monitor on my own, I was like, you know, I'm probably going to need the HDMI switch because, you know, if I do end up getting a monitor, there's a chance that it might only have one HDMI port, right? So, you know, I'm going to need a switch in order to be able to connect something like, you know, let's say, a console. You know, I have an Xbox and a PS4. If I want to connect both of them at once, I'm going to need at least two HDMI ports, right? And then, hey, I never used DisplayPort before at all. Or at least if I did, I mean, not personally, you know, with my own, you know, setup. So, you know, I'm pretty new. I don't really go ahead and buy display cables. I actually never owned one, and I decided I'm just gonna go on Amazon and just, you know, type in DisplayPort cable, and I'm just gonna get, you know, any display cable I see that's, like, you know, rated pretty fairly, you know, and I got the Amazon's basic display cable. Now, on the webpage, it actually states that it's 1.2 what is it, compliant, but it's actually a scam. It is not 1.2 compliant, which is one of the reasons why, since I got my new monitor, hooked it up and put in a display port to my PC to my monitor, I've been having flicker issues whenever I'm actually doing, you know, intensive stuff like playing a game. Like, let's say I recently got in Battlefield 5 last night, and I was playing some Battlefield 5, you know, last night, and then earlier today I was actually playing it for a little bit. And whenever I was playing on my LG monitor, my original monitor I owned, and, you know, that was running just fine. But on my new monitor, that was not being that wasn't being used at all for the game. It just had Discord opened up and a Google Chrome page on YouTube, you know, because I was watching the video as I was playing the game, and out of nowhere, it just started flickering. You know, it was fine for a good few minutes, and eventually it started flickering like crazy, you know, and then after flickering like crazy, doing a few twitches, it then started unsyncing itself and resyncing. So I'll actually go ahead and, you know, go black and resync, and it really sucked because, you know, that just let me know that my display cable is obviously really bad. And if I started playing on the monitor natively, you know, running the game and had something like, you know, Discord on, it got even worse. Because now that the game is running natively on that monitor, all the, you know, bandwidth of the game is being, you know, sent to the actual monitor. It made everything much worse. The flicker was going even more crazy. It could actually even give you a seizure. That's how crazy it was on how fast it was flickering. And the fact that it was actually unsyncing itself even more frequently than what it was when I wasn't gaming on it. So it really sucks because, you know, my graphics card is DisplayPort version 1.4 for the output, right? My monitor is actually DisplayPort 1.2, and I actually recently just found that out today because I went through the manual and searched it up to see what version it has. But my cable is listed as a 1.2 compliant cable, but it's actually a complete scam, and it really sucks. I mean, I got it cheap for only about like $3 or so when it was on sale, and the ratings, you know, was like a 3.9 out of 5 stars on Amazon. You know, quite few, and there's a few people that actually bought it and reviewed it, said it was a good cable. And then when I typed in the keyword flicker, right, to go ahead and search through the reviews and questions if it was a flicker-free cable, that's when I realized that this cable was a complete scam. And then a lot of people will actually go ahead and mention that this cable was actually 1.1, wasn't 1.2. It was a really shitty cable.
Ready to commence, eat up you.
So it's honestly a huge disappointment that, I mean, my $3 went to a scam cable that is actually not even a native 1.2 that I need in order to go ahead and support my monitor. And, you know, it's such a shame to actually receive that. So DisplayPort actually has their own official webpage, which is actually, you know, just literally DisplayPort.org, I believe. I can actually link them down below in the description of this video, and I will also be linking as well the DisplayPort, the brand new cable that I actually bought myself, that actually comes in Saturday. And what is it? They actually go ahead and actually tell you, you know, the differences between, you know, some of the versions of DisplayPort, you know, like for example 1.1 all the way up to 1.4. They actually tell you a few differences about them. Another thing is they also do go over how off-brand display cables will not work, while official licensed brands, you know, that have been tested and verified to work, you know, are legit, right? They go over it on their page, you know, on their website, and it's actually really handy because, I mean, they also have a database to where they actually link you to some actual, DisplayPorts that are official 1.2, 1.3, and 1.4 compliant, you know, by the Association of VESA, or VESA, whatever you call it. VESA is an abbreviation of, you know, 3 big giant words, which I completely forgot what they stand for, but short term is VESA, you know. They're pretty much an association, you know, that actually, like, tests and verify these cables should actually be legit, you know, 100% supported, you know, that are working cables, that are, you know, just legitimate cables that will not give you issues. And, well, my brand new cable actually is legit. One thing is to actually go ahead and figure out if it's legit or not. There is one actual little thing that's really helpful and useful when going into a store to buy a cable, or even looking online, is on the cables, on the very front, you know, of each point of the connectors, you're going to have to find the DisplayPort logo. There will be 2 different type of logos. There will be one that's like, you know, a line on each side of a small square, and that's for a mini DisplayPort, right? Or you'll find a PD type logo, you know, that's for a standard full-size DisplayPort. And if you see those logos pretty much mean that it has been verified by VESA themselves, letting you know that it's an official 1.2 or higher compliant cable. Or even if it's a 1.1 or whatever version it is, it will tell you that it's an official cable that works and should guarantee you, you know, the resolutions and refresh rates that you want to be running your PC at. And it's kind of a shame that, you know, DisplayPort actually has a known issue, you know, of people just getting screwed over with having the wrong cable. I mean, if you look at HDMI, we got standard HDMI, you know, that's like, I believe like 1.0, and then you got the brand new, you know, 2.0 version of HDMI. And regardless of which HDMI, you know, you own, whether it's 1.1 or, you know, 2.0, it doesn't really matter. That just works. You could go ahead and hook it up to your PC. You could hook it up to your PS4, you know, anything. You could hook it up to your monitor, whatever, right? Any HDMI, whether it's a cheap brand or a high expensive quality brand, they just work. And then you get DisplayPort to where you have to actually be really picky and find a trustworthy brand. You can't just go ahead and go with the cheapest option because it will not work. But if you go ahead and go cheap on HDMI cable, it works. It's really crazy that this is actually a thing. I mean, it kind of honestly sucks, to be honest, because I mean, a lot of people out here, you know, like in my area, for example, I mean, I don't actually really have any tech stores, like a Micro Center, a Newegg place, or anything like that I could really go to and just buy me a cable. I only got like standard retail places like a Walmart, freaking Target, I mean, or if I want to go to like the only actual tech related place I could really go to will be like a Best Buy, and that's almost like a good half-hour drive away, which kind of sucks because I don't really got so many local areas where I could go in and just get me a cable that I need. I actually have to order stuff, and it's a shame. And another thing is, like, it worries the heck out of you when you hook up a display cable to your computer, then to your monitor, and your monitor starts flickering whenever you're trying to play a game. It sucks. I mean, when you're trying to watch YouTube, you're trying to watch a movie, you're just browsing the web, you're just chatting on Discord, it works fine. But the second you launch anything that has to send a whole lot of, you know, a whole lot of data, you know, through that cable, like a game, for example, let's say you play some Battlefield 5, and you were playing on maxed out ultra settings, you know, 1080p, that's going to be sending so many gigs of data, you know, from that display cable over to your monitor. You know, it's going to send all that data, image, you know, textures, you know, pictures to be displayed, obviously, right? And if your cable cannot support the bandwidth speed at all, it's going to start to flicker. It's going to start to have issues. Another thing is, even if you're not using the current monitor that's flickering, and you're using a different monitor to play your game, it will have sync issues. And in fact, because it has sync issues, it will start going ahead and flickering like crazy, you know, giving a good few twitches here and there. Or it will start then unsyncing and resyncing back because, you know, it doesn't have a secure connection. And it's such a shame. I mean, kind of wish this wasn't a thing for DisplayPort, because it just gives a bad name for display cables. It just kind of makes it look really bad. It makes HDMI look so much more superior because display cables are actually supposed to be superior compared to HDMI. They each have their own drawbacks as well, but you know, they're not too far apart. Because HDMI is still a really, really great, excellent source. But, I mean, if you want to avoid having so much issues, having to go ahead and, you know, have a flickering monitor screen, especially just connect your computer with an HDMI cable. But if you want to have, like, I don't know, let's say you were going to go insane and actually do 4K, you know, gaming, or maybe you have an editing machine that handles 4K and all that, and you want to have the best image quality, a display cable will probably be better off. But you will have to go ahead and spend a bit of money to make sure you actually go ahead and get yourself a proper cable that will not fail on you and actually guarantee you, what is it, that you will actually go ahead and be able to, you know, have 4K at whatever refresh rate you want. Because that is actually another issue. A cheap cable like the one that I currently have, it barely supports 60 Hertz. In fact, believe it or not, it says it can support higher than 60 Hertz, like 144, you know, it says it can support, you know, like 120 or whatever, right? Hertz, it can support higher than 60. In fact, it does not. Both of my monitors are 75, and if I try to go ahead and actually use this cable, you know, at a higher refresh rate, it just wants to go ahead and flick even more, and it causes even more issues, and it just really sucks, because I mean, I can't use my proper refresh rate. I have to keep it at 60 for the time being until I get a better cable, which will be coming in on Saturday. And it's just a shame that this is a thing, and you know, it just really sucks. I mean, I don't know why this is a thing. If I mean, and I know for sure, I mean, it most likely won't be my monitor either. That's an issue, because that is another thing. A lot of people will go ahead and, if you still have an issue, even after buying a quality cable, you might go ahead and be like, okay, I just bought a brand new cable. You hooked it up, and you still have flicker issues. If you still have issues, you're gonna have to be testing your graphics card, making sure your graphics card is not the problem, and make sure the DisplayPorts on the graphics card are not defected. And if your graphics card is fine and that has no issues, then it could possibly be your monitor that has a failing DisplayPort, and you might have to go ahead and actually get that repaired or get it replaced. So that would be such a shame. And for me, I actually run my current LG monitor off a DisplayPort. I do have an adapter that actually converts DisplayPort to female HDMI port, pretty much. So I could go ahead and plug in an HDMI cable from my monitor into my PC using that DisplayPort adapter, because I do have a HDMI port on my graphics card natively. However, what is it? I always used the HDMI port when I was connecting it to my TV, because my TV obviously didn't have DisplayPort, right? So my monitor, when I ended up buying that, I bought an adapter so I could hook it up. Through the DisplayPort. I could go ahead and take advantage of using the DisplayPort and convert it to HDMI. And I first started using that adapter, obviously, when I had my RX 460, because my RX 460 graphics card was my original graphics card I had on my PC, and that only had one HDMI and one display and a DVI. That's all I had. I had only those three outputs. So obviously, instead of going with DVI, I went with a DisplayPort adapter. And I have been running, and ever since I got the new graphics card, my RX 588 gig, I mean, that has 3 DisplayPorts, 1 HDMI, and 1 DVI. Well, obviously, I never continue reusing what I already own, a DisplayPort adapter, and I know I could have plugged in my LG monitor natively to the HDMI port, but I don't have any issues at all. I've been having this new graphics card for quite a while now, you know, a good couple weeks now, probably a month actually, and not a single issue had I ever had with it. And in fact, I actually plugged in HDMI to my monitor. In fact, I'm playing with HDMI. I'm a 32-inch monitor right now with the PS4, and I don't have any issues at all. But I have issues whenever I use DisplayPort. So the one thing is, I know for sure my graphics card is not the problem. I know for sure the monitor does not have any issues under HDMI. Now the question is, and I know for sure my cable is terrible that I currently already have for DisplayPort, but even though that I have a terrible cable, I mean, I still don't know 100% if it's my monitor or if it's my cable. I do strongly feel confident that it's just the cable that needs to be replaced, and that's it. But until Saturday comes around the corner and I receive my display cable, you know, who knows. But once I receive it, I will be doing some testing, and I'll go ahead and do a little follow-up. You know, I'll mention it in the video. What is it? You know, if my issue is fixed or not. But, you know, if it turns out to be my display cable, then I'm going to be extremely happy, because I don't have to, you know, go exchange this monitor for a new one of the exact same that actually works. Because, I mean, the monitor works great, in fact. What is it? Even under display, it still works great. It only have the issues when I'm playing a game, you know, at some high settings or medium settings, you know, when there's a lot of data being transferred, and that's it. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it. So hopefully my issue will be fixed with a new cable. Hopefully some of you learned something brand new. I know this video is actually kind of lengthy now. It's like 20 minutes, and it's pretty much the same topic that I did last night. But I wanted to go ahead and say a little more bit detailed, or at least I didn't want to be so rushed. Like last night, I was pretty rushed to go ahead and make the video. And hopefully you enjoyed me getting Rekt and Black Ops 4 on the PS4. But yeah, we got to go ahead and play 3 matches as well. So yeah, by the way, if you guys want to give me an early Christmas, late Christmas gift, or an early birthday gift, try to give me 2.5k subscribers. So if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button, go ahead and leave a like, leave a share please, highly appreciated. Turn on the bell notifications to not miss out future, you know, videos or live streams. That would be highly appreciated. And hope you all enjoyed this video, by the way. So dogs out, bark bark bow wow, RXD, #FURRYPACK. You all are freaking awesome. And again, I will be leaving a link to the DisplayPort cable that I ended up buying, a brand new one that's high quality, along with the DisplayPort forum or official webpage if you want to go ahead and read more about DisplayPort stuff. So yeah, anyways, that's really it for tonight's video. And again, take care. Hopefully you all have a nice night. or day. Peace out. #FURRYPACK. RAR XD.